Vegeta, you can't just...
Vegeta!
Baby doll, are you alright? Vegeta, why? Father!
Trunks! I brought the snacks!
I say, wait a...
This calls for the power of love!
Now, Vegeta, let's talk this out.
You asshole!
Vegeta, what the hell are you doing? Ow!
Yeah, $3! That's exactly what you heard. With $3, you can have full access to my manga in high quality, like Yamoshi as a girl, and of course, the best, Ankumo Saga. All this and much more with more than 5 gigs of fan manga access. Patreon on comments!
In the 7th universe. Currently in the 7th universe, more precisely on planet Earth, it was possible to see a house on top of a mountain. This house had been created by Vegeta a few years ago so that he could live in peace, because Vegeta did not like other people very much, and especially the humans, because Vegeta always thought of the humans as worms and weak, who didn't know their place in the world. And because of that, Vegeta lived far away from humans, but not far enough, because sometimes he needed to go to the city center for various reasons. And currently it was possible to see that Vegeta was in the garden of his house, looking at the sky while thinking about everything that had happened in his life, as a prince of a race of warriors to later become only a servant of Frieza. Vegeta had been defeated by his current rival Kakarot, also known as Son Goku. He was also known as a legendary Saiyan, or that's what everyone thought, until Vegeta also achieved the feat of transforming into a Super Saiyan. At the time, the androids appeared. And it was at that time that the Prince of Saiyan's life has changed. Vegeta thought, it's been a few years since the android appeared, and Kakarot and I had to eliminate them, especially that insect Cell, who thought he would be a perfect android. Cell kept saying something about being a perfect android, but because of me, Cell couldn't. He didn't become a perfect being, because as he had explained, he needed to absorb Android 18. But since I didn't let him do that, me and Kakarot managed to defeat him. And the funny thing is that everyone thought that Gohan was the one responsible for defeating Cell. But that didn't matter anymore. After all, this planet was still alive, because I was responsible for weakening Cell. And just know that I always feel better, thought the Prince of Saiyans while giving a slight smile and looking at the sky full of clouds. A mysterious voice spoke. Daddy? Said a little girl with blonde hair, approaching Vegeta, who got up and picked up the girl and placed her in his lap. Vegeta said, What's up, Maron? Asked the Saiyan while he looked at his daughter. Maron said, Mom is calling you to eat, and by the way, look what I learned to do yesterday, said the little girl with blonde hair, concentrating, and then Maron managed to transform into a Super Saiyan, surprising Vegeta. Vegeta said, Incredible, daughter. I didn't expect less from you, said the proud Saiyan of his daughter. A mysterious voice said, It had to be our daughter. Congratulations. Maron, a female voice spoke, attracting the Saiyan's attention. Vegeta said, Android 18, our daughter is really amazing, said the Saiyan while looking at his wife with blonde hair. Vegeta thought, who knew that in the end I would end up with Android 18, and think that all this started with a kiss she had given me just to tease me, and in the end I ended up forming a family with Android 18, thought the Prince of Saiyans as he remembered how his life had completely changed. Years ago. Going back in time to a few years ago, at the time when the androids appeared, which were days before the first appearance of Cell, it was possible to see Vegeta very tired, because of last fight against the androids. Behind Vegeta were Tenshin, Piccolo, and Krillin, who were knocked out on the ground and badly injured. The only one who was still standing and conscious was Vegeta, who was very tired and injured and very out of breath because of the fight. Vegeta thought, damn, these androids are stronger than I thought. I thought that their strength was similar to that of other fat androids, but I ended up destroying some time ago. But I was wrong. These damn androids are very strong, especially that one called android number 17, and the blonde who's called android number 18. The other android number 16 doesn't seem to be as strong as the one too, but I can't say if I'm right or not because I haven't fought him yet. So I don't know your level of power, thought the Prince of Saiyans while he breathed heavily and looked at the androids. Android 18 was the one that was most injured. It was possible to see that by the wounds and also by clothes that were destroyed. Android 17 said, "Look, those companions of yours are still alive, and I think you should give that seed of the gods, since Saiyans can't live without them. If not, they will end up dying, which would be a regrettable loss. And so, will you, or should you do that, since you are known to be the great prince of the Saiyans?" said the android in a pure tone of irony and sarcasm, while looking at Vegeta, who was getting more and more irritated with these androids. Vegeta spoke. "Why are you saying that? You want us to recover so we can face each other again? Is that it?" said the Prince of Saiyans with a tone of irritation in his voice, something that made the androids laugh. Android 17 said, Maybe not. We don't want to face you now. We would like you to get stronger, so that you can give us more of an exciting fight. After this whole fight was boring, and I couldn't even have fun. At least I could. How weak the Prince of Saiyans is. Now we will have to go. After all, we have to look for the house of that Son Goku guy, said the android, looking at Vegeta, who didn't like the way the android was referring to him. Android 16 said, "We need to get out of here. This place is not very busy, so it will be very difficult for a car or person to pass through here, and we need to find Son Goku's house to eliminate him at once." Android spoke while looking around, and he did not feel the presence of any being other than those already in the place. Android 18 said, "I agree, and I would like to get out of this place and go after some new clothes, because mine are pretty torn and that's bothering me," said the blonde woman while looking at her android allies and then looking at her clothes that were torn because of the battle against the warriors, especially Vegeta, who was the only one who could really give her fun. While the androids were talking to each other, Vegeta was kneeling on the ground feeling pain all over his body, and not only that, but Vegeta was feeling a great anger for having been humiliated like that, because not even Goku and Frieza had humiliated him like that. And this made Vegeta increasingly irritated. After all, those beings in front of him only saw him as an insignificant insect that did not even deserve their attention, much less be killed by their hands. Vegeta thought, "I'm that weak, that they should pity me and disgust me with my weakness? No, I'm the Prince of the Saiyans and not a child who will keep his head down," thought the Prince of Saiyans, turning into a Super Saiyan and advancing against Android 18. Android 18 noticed the increase in Vegeta's power, and when Vegeta was very close to her, Android 18 took a step to the side, dodging Vegeta's blow and then landing a punch in Vegeta's abdomen, followed by a kick in the Saiyan's face, which made him go long and go back to his base form. Android 18 said, "I think I underestimated you, Vegeta. Even being in that state, you can still get up and try to attack me, so I have to say that is impressive," said the blonde, looking at the Prince of Saiyans, who was now trying to get up again, but the most the Saiyan was getting was to get on his knees before that woman. Android 18 said, "Number 18, let's get out of here. We have to find Son Goku's house, and you said you want to go change your clothes, so we'll do it soon, so we can look for Son Goku's house and kill him," said the android to his sister, who started walking towards them, but she stopped suddenly and turned around, and went to Vegeta and placed a kiss on the side of his cheek, leaving the Saiyan confused by it. Android 18 spoke. "Take this as a reward for your persistence in facing us. I'll be looking forward to our future fight, Vegeta, so evolve and come after us before we have killed your companion Son Goku. Until then, become stronger, and maybe I will give you some more kisses as a reward," said the blonde android in a provocative way, while she approached her fellow androids, and soon they flew away, leaving the Z fighters utterly defeated and Vegeta on the ground. Vegeta thought, "What did she kiss me? And what is that strange sensation? This is very strange. I never felt this way. Never mind, it shouldn't be a big deal. Now I have to focus on getting stronger, so I can defeat those damn androids and not be humiliated by anyone anymore. Especially Android 18. Thought the Prince of Saiyans, not knowing what exactly he was feeling. He only felt his cheeks warm. Vegeta now had a goal that was to defeat the androids, and for that, he would have to get stronger on planet Earth. Currently on planet Earth, more precisely in the Capsule Corporation, it was possible to see most of the Z-Warriors gathered, including the Saiyan who came from the future to be able to save Son Goku from being killed by a disease that had no cure in that timeline. But in the future of that Saiyan called Trunks had this cure. Trunks is actually the son of Vegeta and Bulma in his timeline. That might or might not exist in the future in that timeline that Trunks was in, because according to Bulma, traveling in time could change several decisive factors. So maybe the Trunks who is in front of everyone, maybe he won't be born in this timeline. But the Bulma of the present was sure that Trunks would be born. After all, she was pregnant, because Bulma had already had an affair with Vegeta in recent times. So Bulma was sure she was pregnant, but that was something only Bulma knew at the time. Now focusing more on Vegeta, it was possible to see that the Prince of Saiyans was in a more isolated corner with some bandages around his body. Vegeta was reflecting on the latest events and especially on the kiss he had received from Android 18. Vegeta didn't, he was no child, and he knew very well what it was like to feel physical attraction for another person. So much so that he ended up with Bulma a few times in recent times. But his encounters with Bulma were just to fulfill his carnal desires, which Vegeta was understanding because the kiss of an enemy had so shaken him. The androids were nothing but their enemies, so why was Vegeta feeling any different when he got to thinking about the blonde-haired android? And why would she leave his thoughts for even a second? Vegeta thought, "Why can't I get that Android 18 out of my head? It's been a while since she kissed my cheek, but why am I still thinking about it? I've had several women over time, and I've even been with Bulma. And according to what that boy named Trunks told me, he must be my future child with Bulma. So that means she will have my child in this current timeline. But that doesn't mean that me and her need to be together, let alone marry her. Will I stay with Bulma or will I stay with another woman? Maybe I'll stick with Android 18. No, I would never fall in love with an enemy, and especially a human-looking robot," thought the Prince of Saiyans while looking at the sky and thinking of android number 18 in a more loving way, and that was something strange and new for the Prince of Saiyans, and thanks to that, he didn't know how to act in that situation. Goku said, "Hey Vegeta, are you alright? Bulma and the rest of the Z fighters told me that you've been acting weird ever since the day you were defeated by the androids. Are you okay?" asked the Saiyan, and also Vegeta's rival, as he approached the Prince of Saiyans and quickly took number 18 out of his thoughts. Vegeta said, "I'm fine, Kakarot. Actually, I'm the one who should ask you that, since the androids are wanting to kill you, and the reason we still don't know. Maybe that Dr. Gero has programmed the androids to kill you. And from what Trunks said, he also told me that you've been killed in this timeline because of your heart disease. However, I still can't calm down with the fact that I was also killed by those androids," said the Prince of the Saiyans in a more irritated tone, because knowing that his other self from Trunks' timeline had been killed by the androids, and that made Vegeta very angry. Goku said, "Vegeta, I heard that the androids defeated you, and they just didn't kill you because they didn't want to. Is that true?" Vegeta spoke, "Kakarot, you must have muscles instead of your brain. When we first saw Trunks, he revealed that he came from the future, where you were dead from a disease. I already died because I was weak. So it's true here in the present I was defeated, and they left me alive, and that makes me extremely angry. Trunks came from the future to prevent our world from becoming the same as his, and that's why he came to bring his medicine to heal you. So Kakarot, I'm fine physically, but my pride is more hurt than ever, and not even Frieza humiliated me as much as those damn androids," said the Prince of the Saiyans, revealing the reason for his anger and frustration. Goku said, "Ah, okay. Now I understand, or I think I understand at least. By the way, Krillin ended up telling me after he broke up a little before the other Z fighters, and he told me that android number 18, who has blonde hair, ended up kissing you on the cheek, and that you seem to be really weird about that. Don't tell me you don't like Bulma anymore and now you're liking that woman," Goku said, teasing his rival, who ended up feeling ashamed when he heard the name of the blonde-haired android. Vegeta said, "Don't be an idiot, Kakarot. I don't love Bulma. But I don't love another woman either. Or have you already forgotten we're enemies and she's probably responsible for my death in Trunks' future? So do you really think I'd end up liking that woman who killed me on the line of Trunks' time?" Goku said, "Come on, Vegeta, she can be our enemy now, but she can also be our ally in the future. You see, most of my friends today have already tried to kill me, and that includes you. So that android with blonde hair could be our ally in the future, and if that happens, you can stay with her if you wish. Of course, it could even be her who had killed you in Trunks' world, but that was her world. In our world, everything can be different. So if you want something, go after it. And even though I think Bulma will be upset about it, but one day she will get over you. After all, Bulma has surpassed Yamcha, and she said that she was in love with him and the love of her life, said the Saiyan, leaving Vegeta surprised, because Goku had said something very intelligent, and that left Vegeta speechless for a few minutes. Vegeta said, "Look, there were few times, and when I say few times, I mean that it is extremely rare for you to say something intelligent. Most of the time you say stupid things, but sometimes you manage to speak in such an intelligent way that it leaves me speechless and really curious to know why you're not like that all the time. If you were like that most of the time, our lives would be much better," said the Prince of Saiyans, looking at Goku, who didn't understand that very well, but he knew that Vegeta was calling him an ass in a more sophisticated way. Goku said, "Look, to be honest, I didn't understand anything you said. I just know that you call me stupid in some way. Anyway, let's put that aside and go to Bulma to get some battle and training equipment, because as you noticed, even though we fought using our Saiyan transformations, we weren't able to defeat or seriously injure those androids. So we need to train to get stronger, and with that, defeat the androids once and for all. And since Chi-Chi is with her family, I can train without worrying about them. And of course, we won't defeat android number 18 because we don't want to leave you single for the rest of your life after all. Even you need to have a wife, and I noticed that you're interested in her," said the Saiyan while teasing Vegeta a little. Vegeta said, "Kakarot, I'm going to kill you, you bastard," said the Prince of Saiyans, very irritated while transforming into Super Saiyan, and went after Goku, who ran out of that place. On planet Earth. Currently on planet Earth, more precisely in the Capsule Corporation, it was possible to see all the Z-Warriors were already recovered and ready for the fight, but Piccolo was the only one who was not in the place, because he had gone after android number 17 to defeat him, and with this prevents Cell, who was an android much more dangerous from the other androids, from not getting his perfect shape, and for him to reach that level, Cell would need to absorb 2 of the 3 androids, these being android number 17 and android number 18. And if Cell managed to absorb the 2 androids, he would become a perfect version, where no one would be able to defeat him. And so Piccolo went after android number 17 to eliminate him and prevent Cell from absorbing them. Vegeta said, "In short, now we will have to kill this android called Cell, or defeat the androids we already know, before they are absorbed by Cell. Because if we don't do that, Cell will absorb the androids, and with that, he will become an absolute android. And if that happens, it'll be impossible for any of us to defeat him. And I believe that even if Kakarot and I join forces, we will not be able to defeat Android Cell. One question, did Android Cell come from the same timeline as you, Trunks?" Trunks said, "That's right. In my timeline, I never got to meet or face Cell. So he must have had the same idea I had, of traveling in that time. But anyway, I came to help you all, since Cell is here to absorb the androids, and conquer this line of time, using the powers he wants to gain by absorbing the androids," said the son of Vegeta and Bulma from the other timeline, looking at everyone present at the place. Bulma said, "This means that Cell must be developing somewhere, since he didn't show up. I think we better find Cell's body and destroy it, just to ensure that he won't do anything to us in the future. If I'm right, Cell must be in the Dr. Gero's laboratory. After all, Gero was the one who created the androids. But if the doctor is smart enough, he must have a secret passage in his laboratory that takes him to where our Cell is, because all good scientists, when they want to protect their most special creations, they do not leave their creations in the main laboratory, but in a secret laboratory, because if someone discovers the main laboratory, this creation of yours will not be destroyed, and that must be why Trunks never met Cell," said Bulma while analyzing everything that should be happening at the moment, and mainly why the android Cell never appeared in Trunks' timeline. Trunks said, "I don't remember very well who was responsible for the destruction of Dr. Gero from my timeline, but I know they never found out if there was a second lab, and we never thought about it either. So Bulma's probably right about this secret lab. We have to find this laboratory and destroy it once and for all to prevent another Cell from being reborn in the future," said the Saiyan coming from another timeline while looking at the Z-Warriors present. Vegeta said, "You can do whatever you want, because I'm going to keep training, and then I'm going to go after those androids, and I have to do it fast because I'm sure Piccolo won't be able to defeat Android 17, so I'm going to train to eliminate this Cell from once," said the Prince of Saiyan, leaving that place to train and defeat the androids, mainly Cell, who was the most dangerous among them. Trunks thought, "Has Dad always been like this? Mom always said he was proud and arrogant back then, but I think there's something off. My mother told me that she and my father were together before the androids appeared, but when they appeared, I was already born. But there's no other me in this timeline that I am currently in. Maybe time travel changed my date of birth. Well, that's not a big deal now. I just hope I'm actually born in that timeline. I just hope this time travel doesn't change so much. I don't want my future to become theirs. I don't want Trunks from this timeline to go through what I went through. Saiyan thought as he looked slightly at the sky and thought of his world where androids wreaked havoc on humanity. Hours later. Hours had passed since Trunks' conversation with the other Z fighters about their journey with the androids and Cell had taken place. During this time, Trunks and Krillin found out where Cell was, but he had already fled, so Trunks and Krillin went to investigate the laboratory, and during their stay in the laboratory, Krillin ended up managing to find a kind of self-destruct control that would activate the bombs inside the androids. Krillin had the idea of approaching Android 18 and using the control, and with that Cell could not reach his perfect form, because Android 18 would be dead. Cell, until that moment, had not achieved his perfect form, but he had already managed to absorb Android 17, and with that he reached his imperfect form, and he only needed to absorb Android 18 to achieve his perfect form. But Cell needed Android 18, so if Krillin killed her using control, Cell would no longer be able to reach his perfect form. Currently, everyone was in the middle of a plain with some rocks and trees. Cell was in front of Android number 18 ready to absorb her at that moment. Besides them, there was also Krillin who was behind a rock, with the control in his hands, and a little away was Trunks who was on the ground knocked out because he had faced Cell and ended up being defeated. Krillin spoke. "Sorry, Android 18, you seem like a nice woman, but if you stay alive, it will be a risk for all of us," said Krillin, coming out from behind the rock, already with his finger on top of the button, ready to destroy Android number 18. But when Krillin was going to press the button, he ended up having his hand hit by a key blow that ended up destroying the control. Everyone thought that Cell had destroyed the control, but in reality, everyone could see that it was Vegeta that was flying over the place, and soon came down to stay a few meters in front of Krillin. Krillin said, "Vegeta, why the hell did you do that?" Krillin shouted while looking at Vegeta, who turned to him and glared at him with a murderous glare. Vegeta spoke. "Look at the way you talk to me, you bug. I'm not Kakarot, and I'll be the one who will put an end to the damn Cell, and it won't be necessary to kill Android 18, said the Saiyan, looking at Krillin and completely ignoring Cell's presence. Android number 18 thought, "Why is this idiot helping me? I humiliated him and even broke his arm, so why does Vegeta want to help me? And why did he save me? Damn, I hate these human feelings because they're so confusing," thought the blonde while looking at Vegeta, but soon Android felt a presence behind her, and when she turned to turn around, it was too late. Cell said, "I thank you for letting Android number 18 live. Thank you, Vegeta, because now I can finally reach my perfect form and defeat all of you." Android Cell spoke while taking Android number 18 by the back and then starting to absorb it. Vegeta, when he saw this, advanced against Cell. Vegeta at a high speed tried to land a sequence of punches on Cell, but the android managed to defeat himself from all attacks and even managed to land a kick on Vegeta, who flew away. And when Vegeta would again advance against Cell, the android began to glow, because he had managed to absorb android number 18, and now Cell was in perfect form. Cell spoke. "I finally reached my perfect form, and now Vegeta, what are you going to do to defeat me? Ha ha ha!" said the perfect android while releasing his power that was much greater than before. Vegeta said, "Cell, I'm going to kill you," said the Prince of Saiyans before releasing a large amount of ki that made everything around shake and the ground crack, and at the same time a large impact wave was generated, sending everyone present except Cell far away. Cell thought, "What power is this? He didn't have this power before, so how did he get this gigantic power?" asked the android, feeling afraid of the power released by Vegeta, because if Cell's power was greater now in his perfect form, Vegeta was far beyond that. Vegeta spoke, "That is the power of my wrath. So Cell, get ready, because you will die at my hand, the Prince of Saiyans, and I will also be the first to reach this level of strength. Behold the power of Super Saiyan 2, said the Prince of Saiyans, releasing several beams that seemed to dance around his body. On planet Earth, after Vegeta becomes the first Saiyan to transform into a Super Saiyan 2. Currently on planet Earth, more precisely on a kind of plane, it was possible to see that Cell, upon reaching his perfect form, became much more powerful than before, and all that because of Vegeta, who prevented Krillin from killing android number 18, using self-destruction control, and thanks to that, Cell managed to absorb android 18. But even though he was much stronger than when he was in his imperfect form, Android Cell now had a big problem on his hands. That problem was Vegeta, who had reached a power that goes beyond the power of a normal Super Saiyan. This power that was making Cell afraid was the power of Super Saiyan 2. Cell thought, "What's going on? Now that I've reached my most powerful form, my perfect form, I'm the one who should be the most powerful warrior in the universe. So how did this bloody Vegeta get this thunderous power? Could it be that it has something to do with Android 18? He got mad after I absorbed her," wondered the android, who already in his perfect form, but still his power was inferior to Vegeta's power. Krillin thought, "What power is this? And since when does Vegeta have this level of power? Vegeta has always been below Goku in terms of power, but this level of power that Vegeta now surpasses Goku and all of us Z fighters." He thought the human, while being scared by the power that Vegeta now possesses, surpasses that of all Saiyans, including Goku himself. Vegeta said, "Hey Cell, don't tell me you're scared of my current power. Aren't you the perfect android who was talking and acting arrogantly? What happened? Ha ha ha! Why are you shaking with fear?" said the Prince of Saiyans as he started walking slowly toward the perfect android, who unconsciously ended up taking a step back out of fear, and his instincts were warning that Vegeta was a danger to him. Cell said, "I underestimated you, Vegeta, and that's true, but now that you have all that power, I can kill you and show everyone the true power of the perfect android, created to conquer the world and destroy the Z Warriors," said the android, stopping, shaking, and putting himself in a combat posture, similar to that of Android 17. Cell advanced at high speed toward Vegeta, who seemed not to care about that, and then the android tried to land a blow on Vegeta, but the Saiyan easily dodged the blow. And seeing that, Cell tried to land several punches on Vegeta, but again the Prince of Saiyans dodged all the blows as if they were nothing. And that greatly irritated the android, who, upon seeing a smile on Vegeta's face, became even more irritated and walked away from Vegeta. And in doing so, Cell fired several spears of ki at Vegeta in hopes of some spear hit and hurt the Saiyan's prince. Vegeta spoke, "Is that all you can do with your perfect form? Because if it is, I must say I'm disappointed," said the Saiyan, as he left the dust curtain that had been formed by Cell's previous attack. But the android's attack had been completely useless, since Vegeta didn't have any kind of scratch on his body. Cell said, "Impossible. It's not possible that none of my blows hurt you. You're a damn monster." The android shouted in shock because his attacks didn't hit Vegeta and didn't even scratch him. Vegeta spoke, "Yes, I am a monster. The monster you woke up. And that monster woke up simply to take you to hell. And now this monster is going to kill you, you disgusting little worm," said the Prince of Saiyans with a big arrogant and proud smile, while making his energy aura rise even more, making the clouds that were in the sky dissipate away from the place where was Vegeta. Vegeta, after raising his power, he disappeared from everyone's sight and reappeared on Cell's back. That when he realized the Saiyan was there, it was too late. Cell was unable to move in time and ended up receiving a kick that made him cross a hill made of stones. And then the android felt his face being held by Vegeta, who flew at high speed and pressed Cell's face against the ground, creating a line of destruction where they passed. Vegeta, after doing that for a few minutes, he threw Cell's body in the air and started hitting powerful blows on the android, and suddenly Vegeta felt something telling him to hit Cell's stomach. Vegeta then gave a powerful punch to the stomach of Cell, who ended up throwing up android number 18, which surprised the Saiyan, who was happy to see android 18, even though he didn't show that happiness while looking at android 18. Cell vomited android number 18, and because of that he ended up returning to his imperfect form, and seeing that he was no longer in his perfect form, the android tried again to absorb the blonde-haired android, but Vegeta appeared in front of Cell, and with his arm pierced Cell's stomach. Then Vegeta grabbed Cell's arm and spun his body, throwing Cell high into the air. Vegeta shouted, "Die once and for all, you disgusting insect!" "Final flash!" said the Prince of Saiyans, gathering a large amount of energy in his hands, and then shooting against Cell. Cell said, "Damn Saiyan! Damn you, Vegeta!" The android shouted while he felt Vegeta's ki blow, completely destroying him. At that moment, Cell's existence had disappeared. Vegeta spoke, "Finally that worm died. I wondered how weak my other self was to have been killed by this worm. But now I better get android 18 out of here before the rest of the Z Warriors get here and try to kill her for being an android," said the Prince of Saiyans, returning to their base form and looking at android number 18, who had passed out. The Saiyan took her in his arms and flew away to a place where only Vegeta knew. After arriving at the place that was an old house in the middle of a forest that Vegeta had discovered when he was sent to planet Earth, Vegeta put the android to bed, and then took a paper and pen and wrote some things, and then left the place in the direction to Kami-sama's temple where the Dragon Balls should be. And when Vegeta arrived at the temple, everyone stared at him. Goku said, "Vegeta, Krillin just told me that you got a huge power, and using that power you managed to defeat Cell alone. Is that true?" asked the Saiyan while looking at his rival. Vegeta spoke, "Of course it is. I had said that I would kill Cell, and that's what I did. So the threat of the androids is over, and our future will not be destroyed, as it happened in Trunks' timeline. Now I want the Dragon Spears. I have a wish to make, and since I was responsible for defeating Cell, I think it's only fair that I have a wish fulfilled," said the Saiyan looking at Krillin, who was holding all 7 spears of the dragon. Krillin spoke, "What kind of wish are you going to make?" "If it's a bad one, then you better get that idea out of your head, as we won't give the Dragon Balls to you. You can't be trusted, and I'm sure you didn't let me destroy Android 18 because I wanted to face Cell in his perfect form. You're a nut." Vegeta said, "I don't care if you like me or not, or any shit like that. I'll have my wish come true. And if you want to try to stop me, then you'd better get ready to die," said the Prince of Saiyans, transforming into Super Saiyan 2, making everyone feel the difference between their powers. Goku said, "Calm down, Vegeta. You don't have to do any of that. We were going to use the Dragon Balls to bring everybody, the androids, killed back to life. Since Shenron can grant up to 3 wishes, you'll get one of them, so there's no need for violence." After Vegeta returned to his base form, they summoned Shenron and made the first 2 wishes, and after that Vegeta made his wish, but he spoke so low that no one could hear. But Shenron heard and fulfilled his wish, and then Vegeta left that location and went to the place where android number 18 was. And when he got there, the blonde was already awake. And when he saw the Saiyan, the android put himself in a combat posture. Android number 18 said, "Where am I? And why am I here? And especially how did I get here? Because as far as I remember, I had been absorbed by Cell so that he could gain the perfect form of his," said the blonde, looking at Vegeta. Vegeta began to explain everything that happened from the moment he destroyed her self-destruct control to the moment Vegeta defeated and completely destroyed the Cell android and used the Dragon Balls to take the bomb out of her, making her more human than a robot. Android 18, upon hearing this, was surprised by what the Saiyan had done for her. Android number 18 said, "I might be alive thanks to you, but I'm not going to be nice to you. I didn't kill you before because I didn't want to, so I'll take it as a way for making up for not killing you. But still, I thank you. Now I'm leaving. Who knows, maybe we'll meet in the near future," said Android 18, leaving the old house and flying away from that place, leaving Vegeta alone in the place. But before she left, Android 18 gave Vegeta another kiss as a form of thanks, but this time it wasn't a kiss on the cheek, but on the mouth, leaving Vegeta completely in shock. And after that, Android 18 finally left the place, leaving Vegeta alone. Vegeta spoke, "Unlike most humans, Android 18 is not an easy woman to conquer, and that makes me think that she looks more like a Saiyan than a human. That just makes me want to have her even more. After all, a king needs a queen who is up to it," said the Prince of Saiyans, looking at the sky, where android number 18 had left flying. With that, we'll end today's video, where Vegeta in this parallel story had his romance with Android 18 instead of Krillin. So if you like this incredible story, leave a lot of likes in the video and comment, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Until another day, guys.